Hello everyone, this is Cindy with Monarch Mom DIY. Welcome to my channel. If you are here for the first time, I hope you'll go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope everybody will give this video a big thumbs up and even share it with some friends. I'm really excited for today's DIYs. Let's get going. For today's first project, I'm using 3 recycled canned chicken cans, some succulents from Dollar Tree, a plant hanger from Dollar Tree, and some jute twine. Also these white pebbles and white foam circles from Dollar Tree. So I have this Crocodile Big Bite, and I'm using it, I usually use it for paper crafts, but I'm using it today to punch 3 holes in each of these recycled reused cans. And I'm punching the holes kind of in a triangle shape, but I'm just eyeballing it. So to give this craft a farmhouse look, I am taking this jute twine from Walmart. It's a little bit thicker than the jute twine from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going around and hot gluing starting at the top, and I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. You could also, if you wanted to, paint these cans a different color, maybe black, before you put the jute twine, but I'm just going ahead with the jute twine. Notice I didn't even worry about getting that last little bit of paper from the label off of the can. Now you do want to make sure to go around those holes that you punched. You can just easily go around them to leave those holes. So here I'm just taking some poster board, or actually cardstock, and tracing the can. I want to make a template so that I can cut 3 circles from this black felt. I'm going to hot glue this to the bottom of each can just to cover up the printing on there and the bottom of the can. Just make it look a little more decorative. So now I'm just taking my Gorilla glue gun again and just hot gluing these black felt circles to the bottom of each of my 3 cans. This time I am using the thinner jute string from Dollar Tree, so I put a little tape on the end to make it not fray. I'm going in, or I'm starting on the inside and going out, then coming up, and you'll notice I'm kind of holding the tops of, I'd say, the triangles of string at the top, and then I'm going from the inside to the outside on the first hole again and tying it in a knot. I know that went kind of fast, but basically you're threading string through the 3 holes and bringing it up to the top each time, and so that this can will hang from the hook of the planter hanger. Now I'm going back to that first hole and also cutting off the other end of the string and tying it in a knot. So here I'm showing you kind of how the can will hang from the jute string. Now that all 3 of my cans have the jute string, I'm taking these hard white foam circles. They come 2 in a pack at Dollar Tree for $1, and I'm just using my utility knife to cut around it so that it will fit snugly inside the can. These are not the best utility knives for this, for thick items, but we made it work, and you end up just kind of breaking off the pieces to get it to fit. So you're just basically making a smaller circle of the foam. Then you're going to take your hot glue gun and just randomly put some hot glue at the bottom and fit your circle inside, making sure none of the strings are getting stuck in the glue, and press it down. It fills up about halfway up the can. And here's the second one. Sorry, I get out of frame. So all three of your cans are going to have this foam at the bottom just to fill up a little bit of the space and be the surface that the succulents will stick into. All right, I am going to use some Mod Podge in order to stick these little white pebbles on the top. I just didn't want the foam to show. So with some Mod Podge and then a light layer of these little white pebbles. I don't know, they're in the rock and marble section of the craft aisle. Then I'm going to take 2 or 3 of these succulents from Dollar Tree. Some of them I had to cut the stick a little bit shorter to get it to stick in. And I'm just going to do that same process with the Mod Podge and the pebbles and the succulents for all 3 of my cans. Okay, so here is the planter hanger that you can get in the gardening section at Dollar Tree. It has 3 chains with hooks that are all the same length. I'm going to leave this one the length that it is and just hook all 3 of my jute string triangles. This next one, I'm going to take about 6 inches of the chain off and put the hook back on, and then hook the 3 jute string triangles from the second can of succulents. And then the next one, I'm going to take off just like 3 or 4 inches of the chain and then put the hook back on and hook the 3 jute string triangles of my final can of succulents. This is just so that they'll hang at different lengths. And here is what it looks like hanging. I just put it in a doorway for you to see. And I think this is actually going to go up in my master bathroom. I really love how this turned out. Of course, if you wanted to, you could always use live succulents with this project. For this next project, I'm using a thrifted wire basket, 4 jars, some florals, some yellow and white chalk paint, and some lemons and jute twine. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint 2 of my jars with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Maize. It's a nice, bright, sunny lemony yellow, and for some reason my yellow, maybe I didn't shake it enough, it seemed a little thin compared to my white, so I did have to use 2 coats. But as always, this Waverly chalk paint does a really great job sticking to everything, even glass. So 2 of my jars are going to be yellow and 2 are going to be white. The next thing, I decided to roughen these up just a little bit with some sandpaper from Dollar Tree. I used kind of a high grit, 150, just isn't too coarse, just to kind of roughen up maybe the edges where the wording was, the bottom, around the jar top, and just did this to all 4 of my jars just to make them look a little bit more rustic and not quite so perfectly painted. Next, I'm taking my thin jute twine and I hot glued a little dot at the back and just kind of wrapped it around 3 or 4 times and just tied it in a knot at the front. Sorry, it's out of frame. You'll see the knot in just a second. And I thought it looked really cute. It just wrapped around and then knotted at the front. And then I just trimmed the little ends to be just a couple inches long. This wire basket that I found at the thrift store, I am going to spray paint it with this galvanized metallic. And here you can see it all dry with my 4 jars. And now I get the fun part of just putting the florals in. If you've been on my channel very much, you know I used these florals also for Christmas and for Valentine's. I just kind of change out the jars and a couple of the other items that go in the jars as well. So here I'm using the lamb's ear from Walmart, the baby's breath from Dollar Tree, and then I'm going to take 5 of these smaller lemons. I think these were from Joann's last year. They're foam, and so I'm just taking some bamboo skewers and sticking them in, some of them straight on, some of them at angles, and just adding them in here to my jars for a fun spring, and even really this could go into summer look. So here's what my jars looked like. I think they're simple and fun for spring. My next project I'm very excited about. I'm using 6 of these bamboo cutting boards from Dollar Tree, 3 of these hanging jars, some little hook things, some florals, and this little box from Dollar General, and part of this wall cling. The first thing I'm going to do, these bamboo cutting boards, I'm still finding them randomly in some of my Dollar Trees. I'm using a watered down white Waverly chalk paint. When I get to the end, I just put a little water in there and use this for when I want more of like a whitewash look. These bamboo cutting boards are not glossy, which is really nice. So it's easy to do like a whitewash look with this watered down white chalk paint. So I'm going to do that to all 6 of my boards. I found this little edging at Lowe's and I wanted it to reinforce the corners of this project that I'm going to make. I am also going to give those a coat of this Waverly chalk paint, the watered down paint in white. So I'm painting 5 of these. I'm only going to end up using 4 of them by the time I'm done, because of course this project was an ongoing, work in progress. Once my cutting boards are all dry, I'm taking some sandpaper and kind of roughing up the edges so you can see the plain bamboo again, smoothing out the chalk paint, giving it kind of that rustic whitewashed look. All right, I'm using my Simply Earth oils boxes to help make sure I glue these at right angles. So now I'm going to take 4 of my cutting boards and I'm going to glue them in a square. It's going to be a little longer on the bottom and the top, as I'm going to put the 2 side cutting boards on the outside edges. So here I'm just showing you I'm using Gorilla Wood glue and kind of using my oil boxes to get everything straight. This Gorilla Wood glue really does work great. It just does take a little bit of time to dry. So trying to prop up one corner at a time. And here we're gluing and putting on the other side piece. I'm going to slide that box over to that side and then put this other box on the other side to try to get everything as close to right angles as possible. Now I'm taking 2 pieces of this edging. I cut 4 of these to 5 3/4 inches so that it was about the same width as our cutting boards, and I'm going to use them on the inside of my square here in each of the 4 corners just to reinforce the corners and make sure everything stays together with this square made out of these cutting boards. Okay, so now is a little tricky part. I'm using my Gorilla Glue gun. I'm going to make the peak of this house. Yes, I'm making 6 of these into a house shape. So I'm really trying to hold them tight, get this roof as straight of a triangle as possible. So I'm decided to use the hot glue instead of the wood glue just because it would dry a little bit faster. So I planned on using the 5th piece of this edging. I was trying to figure out where to put it so it would reinforce the peak of the triangle. It didn't stick very well on top of the triangle, so then I decided I was going to use this small wooden dowel from Dollar Tree instead, and I just hot glued it and stuck it there. I will paint it white here in just a moment. Then I thought, well, maybe this should go on the inside, but it just wasn't the right angle. So we ended up going just with the wooden dowel, hot glued on the peak of the roof. And this is the shape of our house with the 6 cutting boards. Next, I found these hanging glass jars at my local dollar store called Keegstra's, and they had the jute twine in the lid and everything. I decided to take just a few pieces off some of my spring florals that I've used in previous projects already this year. And also, I'm going to use some of those white pebbles that I used in the hanging succulent display. Here I'm just cutting, this is eucalyptus from Walmart. The other one was like a succulent type plant from Dollar General. So I'm just putting a little bit and then putting 1 or 2 little pieces in each jar. And oh my gosh, you guys, these turned out even cuter than I imagined. I was so excited. So here we're going to switch gears a little bit. I'm taking this little wood sign from Dollar General and I'm giving it a coat or 2 of Waverly chalk paint in white on the outside and the inside. This sign we're going to make to put in the top part of our house. And we're just going to use the top part of this wall sticker that says home is where love resides, I believe it says. So these are the little hooks that I found in the automotive aisle of Dollar Tree, and I'm going to stick these to the top of the house so that the jute twine hanger can hook on the little hook. So you will kind of see them a little bit, but they're the kind that are removable. I tried to put hot glue on top of the little foam adhesive pad, but it didn't really stick all that well. Here it's gonna come off in just a second. So then I went ahead and I'm going to take the foam off completely, just pulling the little arrow tab. So I'm just hot gluing the plastic, and that seemed to work a lot better. So here you can see I just kind of eyeballed the middle, and then I'm just going to glue one on either side of that center, trying to make sure they're far enough apart that the jars won't be touching each other when they hang. All right, so now it's time to hang the 3 jars. I'm really trying to stay out of frame and just hang these on as quickly as possible. As I was hanging them, I noticed, you'll see it in a second, that this one on the left, the string was a little shorter, so no problem. I just switched the lids on these 2 so that the one with the shorter lid was in the middle. Okay, so once our box sign is all dry, I'm taking this piece of the wall sticker, Home is Where Love Resides, centering it on the box, trimming just a couple little pieces that are sticking above and below, and I'm going to set this in the top of our house and then just add a couple little pieces of floral on either side of the sign. You guys, I've been thinking about this project for such a long time, been planning it, and I have to say it took a while, but I was so happy with how this turned out. I love, love, love this so much. I hope you guys like it. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think. I have one more project coming up. This is just using one of these love signs from Valentine, some succulent stickers, some jute twine. I was going to use these letter stickers, but you'll see I end up using something else. I like the back of my projects to look finished, so rather than just painting on the back, I am going to paint over this love word. I'm just using my scraper here to get any glue off. I'm going to give this a coat of Waverly chalk paint in white, and really my white, I don't know why my white seems to be thicker than some of my other colors, but that's good because it covers really, really well. So give this a good coat on the front, and I believe I also did do the side and top and bottom edges just to make sure everything was as covered as possible. I did leave the back the plain color. Okay, so here I just have some poster board. I'm cutting around this bowl because I need 2 circles to adhere 2 succulent stickers to. You'll see here in a second. So these are some succulent stickers I have still been able to find at Dollar Tree. I just chose 2 of the medium-sized ones and adhered them to the center of these poster board circles. I'm using these little tiny paper snip scissors from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to fussy cut around each of my succulent stickers. Now I have this jar lid. I traced it onto the back of the poster board that has the sticker on it so that I knew where to put my glue, and I'm gluing down this jar lid. Now I'm only using this to make my 2 succulents pop out from the board. Okay, so hot gluing this, and then I will end up hot gluing the jar lid to my sign. So I was so happy to find this wall sticker. I just wanted the Live, Laugh, Love. I wasn't too happy with the font, that it was real blocky letters, but I decided to go with it anyway. Here you'll see I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to place the words. I felt like if I had them all going across the top, they just ran into each other too much. So I'm going to end up pulling Live and Love down to the bottom and leave Laugh at the top here in just a moment. So you'll see here I'm just trying to mark where the center of my board is and where the center of the word laugh is so that I can make sure to get that placed in the center and then do the other 2 words on either side. So I am going to use laugh at the top if I can get it straight without sticking to me. And then I'll place Live and Love at the bottom. Of course, if you can't find this sticker, you can always write these words with a paint marker. Here I'm going to hot glue a little chunk of that white foam from our previous projects, and so that that big succulent in the center will pop out. So now I've glued all 3 of my succulents, the 2 sticker ones and the actual 3-dimensional one. I'm going to wrap a little bit of this thin jute twine from Dollar Tree about 4 times around either end, just to kind of finish off the project with a decorative touch. And then I will take a little bit of it as well to make a little bit of a hanger. You can then hang this project on the wall or set it on a shelf. And here's how the final project turned out, hanging on the wall. Here, next, I'm going to just give you a quick look. This was requested, just a quick look of all 4 projects as they are finished. I'm just kind of doing a short video clip. You can see the jars, the house with the hanging jars, and the home is where love resides. The Live, Laugh, Love with the succulent stickers and fake artificial succulent in the center, and then my recycled cans with succulents to hang. So thanks again so much, you guys, for joining me today on my channel. Please, as always, let me know in the comments below which of these 4 projects was your favorite. I really loved all 4 of these projects. Like I said, I've been planning them for quite a while. And wow, that was a whirlwind. 1 week of crafting in 25 minutes. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.